former legend of the BBC, Jim Davidson. Of course, he hosted The Generation Game. Oh, look at him there. Between 1995 and 2002, until his contract was abruptly ended. And Jim, you say the woke BBC, even back then, they had an issue with you being a working class Tory. So is it strictly champagne socialists now like Lineker and Ian Wright who are allowed at BBC HQ?
Well, I wouldn't actually say that Ian Wright is a champagne socialist. I don't know about Lineker, but I like Ian. I got on quite well with him. But my political interest was cast upon me way before at Thames Television when I had the Jim Davidson show. A man called John Howard Davis, who was a BBC producer, turned up and got rid of me and Benny Hill overnight. And then about a year later, I got a little cassette VHS dropped on my desk from my manager and said, "The BBC want you." I said, "What's that?" They said, "They want you to do this. It's some rotten show about snooker." So me and John Virgo went and did that show. And I never particularly felt welcome there. I was a smell under some people's noses. And then one day Bruce Forsyth went sick. And I stepped in and did the Generation Game. I replaced him just for a day. And I wasn't particularly good, but it made Bruce get better very quick. And then when he, you'll be all right if you play. And so when he went to do his new deal, they said, "Oh no, we got Jim Davidson." And I did the Generation Game for 7 years. I did Big Break for 12 seasons and 7 seasons of the Generation Game. Now look at the BBC. I'm totally erased. I am the statue that's thrown into Bristol Docks. And they gave me they gave me £1 million to go away. I had a contract with £1 million for wages, and they said, "We'll give you £1 million if you go away. Please don't tell anyone." But I've told you, Danny boy. Great party, by the way, on your birthday.
Thank you so much. It was great to have you there. Do you think even then, Jim, it was because of where you stood politically?
Yeah, I think it was worse. I was a working class Tory. I was a traitor. I was, and I like to mess about and have a laugh and be rude and stuff on the rehearsals, and it was all pretty much frowned upon. They're more concerned than being woke and ticking boxes. You know, ticking boxes. The man said to me, "We have to have 8.9% ethnic minorities on every show." And so if you couldn't get anybody that wanted to come on Big Break who was of non-white persuasion, you had to go out and kidnap some poor bugger and throw him in. You know, it was daft. And do you know what I learnt there? And I've been in the business 47 years now.
I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. I don't believe that you're a day over 47, Jim.
Well, yes, dear. But I'm nearly 100. This was what I won yesterday, 47 years ago, New Faces. So you learn a thing or two. And the worst thing I learned about the BBC is it's full of people that don't know how to make programs. They know how to tick a box, and they know how to be silly. Now, I wouldn't have thrown Lineker off like that. I mean, and having a boss called Tim, I mean, come on, how scary is a Tim? But anyway, at my TV station, and probably yourself, you wouldn't throw someone off. You just turn them off. Don't, you know, I can understand that it's taxpayers' money, and I hate the BBC with a passion. It's a toss-up between them and the NHS, who I hate most. But you know, I wouldn't have got rid of him because now Tim's shown himself as, you know, lily livered.
Well, and he's made Lineker a sort of free speech martyr, which is what infuriates me. Well,
yeah, he can now say what he wants, basically. He's won, hasn't he? And he's going to be even smugger. Smugger.
He is. And so where do you see the BBC heading now, Jim? Is it going to become even more of an activist organisation? Because, let's be honest, Jim, ever since Brexit, we know that the BBC, even in their news and current affairs department, has campaigned against and for certain issues. You know, they despised Brexiteers like Nigel Farage, who we've got coming up, and they never thought Brexit was going to win. And you know, is it going to go even more down that path now?
Well, I don't know. It's up to Tim and all those silly people. All they want to do is now they want to get rid of the chairman because he arranged some loan or helped Boris get. Everyone's just picking on one another. I think the BBC have lost the public. They've lost the dressing room. You know, who do we watch now? GB News, Ustream, anything but BBC. What does BBC stand for? Bring back Corbyn, bring back communism. It is a joke, and we have to pay for it, whether we like it or not. Let's scrap it. Let's watch GB News all day long.